So this is Corsair's M65 Pro. It's an FPS gaming mouse and it's kind of a bit of a revision from the last M65, so we're going to be taking a look at it in this video. It's a little bit more my style than something like the Scimitar that I've checked out earlier, but let's find out more about it. Check out TechteamGB.co.uk for more awesome news, reviews and other stuff, including more information on this product and many more. Stick around for this awesome video. So this is Corsair's M65 Pro. It's a bit of a revision from the standard M65, and the actual box design itself is quite similar to the Scimitar RGB that I checked out fairly recently, with all the features listed on the back and the sort of RGB features listed on the inside of the sort of front book cover type design, showing off the mouse itself. Also, it is still difficult to get this kind of mouse out of the box if you're taking it out from the bottom. You just have to pull up where it says M65 Pro from sort of the inside. Once you unfold it all, you'll find obviously the mouse as well as a warranty leaflet and the standard manual. Now the cable itself is braided, it's a nice length, and you get some soft touch sort of plastic on the USB port, which is quite nice. On the left hand side you get forward and back buttons as well as a sniper button, and those can be changed in the Corsair Q software, and you get DPI up and down buttons on the top as well as a standard scroll wheel, and that target thing there is actually the DPI LED, so depending on what setting you're on depends on what colour it is. Now this is definitely more of a palm grip mouse. For me, that's my sort of general style, so it's a lot more comfortable than some of the more sort of claw grip ones, but while it does feel really nice in your hand, the sniper button is very much where my thumb sat, so that is both a good thing and a bad thing, and I'll talk about that later. Now the weighting system, you've only got 3 weights as opposed to the several that come in the Logitech G502, but at the same time I noticed a lot more of a difference in the actual experience of using this mouse with different weighting setups as opposed to the Logitech G502, where I didn't really notice much of a difference even with all of the weights, or depending on where they are in as well, so that's something to take note of. Now in terms of actually gaming on this thing, it was actually really nice. The sniper button, as I said, does sit right where my thumb rests, so I did accidentally press it a lot of the time, and while it wasn't normally an issue because all it does is drop the DPI to 400%, I did also find that it could be a bit jumpy, which is why I tested it with a mouse mat, and that was a lot better. So if you are picking this mouse up, I definitely recommend using a mouse mat with this. In terms of the jumpiness, I think that's just because the travel distance, so how high you have to take the mouse up before it stops tracking, was set to high, so when I turned it down to low it got a lot more usable for me. In terms of styling, the RGB features are quite nice, although as usual they're under your hand so you probably won't notice them, but it does look pretty nice if you're just staring at it. The Q software seems to be quite nice, although you can't seem to put any of the F keys as a function, and I often use F5 on my mouse to refresh web pages, so that would be something I'd like to see added. So as I said in the past, I don't play many MOBA or MMO titles. I play some stuff like GTA 5, some racing games, and a couple of FPS titles as well, so this mouse does suit me a bit more than stuff like the Scimitar does. Now, it's not going to be my daily driver, and the main reasons for that personally is just because the Logitech G700S for me fits my hand a bit better. The button placement and the fact there are a couple more buttons is just quite nice, and it's kind of set up to how I like it, so anything that isn't that is a bit difficult to get used to. But at the same time, this is actually a really nice mouse. First of all, I want to mention that you definitely are going to want a mouse mat for this type of mouse, especially if you're playing stuff like CSGO and you want great accuracy and the best feel possible. Obviously Corsair has plenty of mouse mats to choose from there, including the more kind of desk mat sized ones, so go check those out. But other than that, it's obviously a very stylish mouse. The RGB sort of functions, but the thing that's most interesting to me is actually the weighting system and how much of a difference it makes when you're using the mouse. You can take out obviously one at a time. There are only 3 weights compared to stuff like Logitech's G502, which has sort of multiple and in sort of multiple positions, but for me this made a lot more of a difference in how I felt, kind of how I used and how the mouse felt by taking just 1 or 2 out, which is quite interesting. And if you're looking for some customizability in your kind of the weight of your mouse, sort of almost the travel speed, then that's a really nice feature. In terms of the feel of the mouse, it's got a sort of soft touch plastic and means that it's quite nice in the hand. It is a bit more of a palm grip than a claw grip in my opinion anyway. and it sits quite nicely. It feels nice, it's not going to slip out your hand, the scroll wheel feels good. The sort of back and forward buttons on the left hand side do feel a little bit mushy, and I'd personally prefer them to be a bit more firm, because I generally use those as kind of quick sort of flick my thumb to stab someone kind of button, so having to kind of flick it and then actually physically think about pushing it in, it can be a little bit difficult. The sniper button is very kind of keenly placed to be exactly where your thumb wants to rest when you're using the mouse, which can be a little bit of a problem because you do accidentally press it sometimes if you're trying to move kind of quickly, although that button is a lot more firm than the two on the top. The DPI settings are a bit insane with up to 12,000, and as I said in the past, I only use maybe maximum of 2,000. I generally stay around 1,200 to 1,500. So for me, 12,000 is a bit insane. And yeah, in terms of styling, obviously it's quite nice as well with the RGB elements, although as per usual, because it's a mouse, it's going to be under your hand and you're probably not going to notice it, especially if you're looking at the screen while you're shooting zombies or something. Other than that, in terms of specific pros and cons, it's a very nice feel. Obviously the weight customizability is great. It is quite stylish if you're just kind of, you know, not using it or have it plugged in but looking at it or something. And in terms of the buttons, well, the top two on the left are a bit mushy. Overall, the DPI availability is nice, and you know, for the more kind of pro CSGO players and stuff like that, I can certainly see them using this pretty effectively. And other than that, it's a nice feel. It's generally okay. The software is still quite nice. And other than that, I don't really have too much more to say about that. So yeah, I think in terms of value for money, it's going to be a 4. In terms of performance, mine was quite jumpy, especially on the high settings, so that the sort of how high can you lift it off before it stops tracking. So I had to set that to low to be able to kind of actually use the mouse at all. Although again, that may be something that a pro player might find more useful. So that is just something to be aware of. So I'm going to go for 4 there. In terms of functionality, I'm going to go for, I think, a 5 actually, because it gives a lot of range and stuff like DPI. Obviously the height tracking, the weighting system is quite nice as well. And while the buttons are a bit mushy, I think it makes up for that in other areas. In terms of styling, I'm going to go for a 5, and TechteamGB score is going to be a 4. I think it's going to get the silver award because personally I could definitely see the top buttons being a little bit more firm, but other than that, it's a really nice mouse. It's a great buy if you're looking for a kind of, well, pro gaming mouse, as it says in the title. And I guess that's kind of it. So if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more tech videos like this, and I'm sure we've still got giveaways going on, so definitely check that out. Otherwise, check us out on Facebook and Twitter if you want to see more updates and cool photos and kind of behind the scenesy type stuff. And other than that, yeah, don't forget to use my Amazon affiliate link if you're picking up this or anything else. It'd be really awesome. It legitimately does pay for the lights and the rent. So if you're buying anything on Amazon, it'd be really awesome if you could use my link. They're all in the description down below. But other than that, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all in the next one.